Hey, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk. And I am your host, C Money. And in today's episode, we're going to do food location reviews. Now, and this segment, I'm here at the Pembroke Lakes Mall. Earlier, I did a video at Miramar Pineland Park, and I also did a video at my alma mater school, the old location, Florida Career College in the Pembroke Pines area. So I decided to come out to Pembroke Lakes Mall. I ended up going to round one, which is, I did a video of round one. I ended up going there and I ended up coming to the food court. Now the food court is okay. Apparently it's not a lot of options. They have a Popeyes, they have a Kelly's Cajun Grill, they have a Sbarro's, which is one of my favorite places. They have Charlie's, but apparently Charlie's is closed. They have a Sukihana and a few other places, not many, because it's not. And then they have a spot that's used to be a restaurant that's closed. Now I ended up having the option of going to um, actually the option of doing Sbarro's. Now Sbarro's is one of my favorite, mall restaurants. I'm not going to say it's my favorite Italian restaurant because nothing, of course, can be a homemade Italian restaurant, and of course Olive Garden, which is one of my favorites. But as far as that, you know, Sbarro's and Villa, but you don't find too many Villa Italian kitchens down here. I found the last one I've been to was when I was on the road. I know they had one at Sawgrass Mills Mall, and they have them at some of the rest stops along the Florida Turnpike. You go to those little rest stops and stuff, they have them. So I ended up going to Sbarro's. Now Sbarro's, I ended up getting. I am trying to show you chicken parmesan with baked ziti. Now, normally I don't do chain restaurants because when I normally go to Sbarro's and I normally go to the one at Dolphin Mall, they have everything. They have lasagna, the white macaroni and cheese, the baked ziti. They have everything, strombonis and stuff. This one had pizza, and all they had was spaghetti, meatballs, little roasted potatoes, and of course chicken parmesan and baked ziti. So they didn't have a full menu. They didn't have the strombonis, and I'm quite sure they sell them. But I got the chicken parmesan. I got the baked ziti, the chicken parmesan and the baked ziti, and a drink, which is roughly $20. So I'm gonna give you a review of this. This is chicken parmesan and baked ziti. And this is a large, by the way. Uh-oh. Darn it, I dropped my baked ziti. Let me get it up before the birds, because I'm sitting outside. And by the way, if you've ever been to Pembroke Lakes Mall, there is a section in the food court area where you can go outside and you can sit near the water area. It's roped off because the water area, there's no water. So there's birds in the area, and I didn't want them coming to swoop up and under my chair to get the food. So there's no water. They're doing construction here, so. Oh yeah, there's a Chick-fil-A too. I forgot to tell you there's a Chick-fil-A as well, but I'm not a fan of Chick-fil-A. But other things. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the chicken parmesan, because I don't think they serve that at the one at Dolphin Mall. Well, I must say, when you come to a mall, whether it's a big mall or a small mall, there's two things you need to know or should have. Number one, each mall should have a food court area, regardless if it's a big food court or a small food court. And number two, you gotta have a chain store, whether it's J.C. Penney, Macy's. It can even be Ross or TJ Maxx or anything like that, you know, because I've seen them in malls as well too. But with this, there wasn't a lot of food options. Charlie's, that's one of my favorite steak places. You know, cheese steak restaurants. You know, I like Subway too, but Charlie's, you know, they sell French fries with theirs, and they got the best ultimate fries, hands down. They was closed, and I'm like, no, and they didn't even have a sign up stating that whether they open or close or whatever. And it's in the afternoon, and even though you know all stores supposed to be open during mall business hours. I know round one probably stay open later because that's an arcade place and that's like a entertainment complex. So I know they have their own entrance too. They have a mall entrance and they have two side entrances. So I know they probably stay open past 9 because you know the mall closes at 9. So well, most malls close at 9. I know there are some malls that probably close around 9:30 or so, but you know a lot of these restaurants they're supposed to stay open till the mall closes. You know, so I was wondering why is this so. If you know the reason, if you've been to Pembroke Lakes Mall, you know why, you know they're not open. Because Charlie's is one of those mall restaurants, just like Sbarro's is a mall restaurant. Even though I've been to standalone Charlie's, because they do have standalone Charlie's that have their own locations, but most of the Charlie's you see them now they're popping up in Walmarts because they have a Charlie's at a Walmart in North Miami, and they're popping up in a lot of these Walmarts and. Um, the same thing with Sbarro. Sbarro's is a standalone restaurant. I've seen they had one on the beach. I don't know if it's still there on South Beach. They had one, and I know they have one at Jackson Memorial Hospital, the main one. But I don't know if it's still there either because that was the recent one they built. But a lot of these are, and I like these. And when I go to the malls, I want to eat. I don't mind the food court restaurants. Let me tell you why. Number one, you don't pay a lot of money for the food. Like this plate here probably cost me at least $30 at an Italian restaurant. By the mall, I only paid $20, and this was the large. So imagine it was probably only like I think it was only like $14 for the small. Or the regular. It would have been less than $20 if I hadn't got the soda. But I want the soda because I want to eat here. Normally I take my food and I take it home with me. But you know I'm here in Broward County and I said I don't want to, you know, hug my food all the way down. But they do have a Cinnabon here. It's not in the food court. It's further down. It's going towards round one, and I gotta exit out of round one because the bus station here, bus stop or bus terminal, however you want to call it, is near the round one. And you know, round one is where the Sears used to be at. I did an episode of round one, so you know, go back and look at it at Hotspots in South Florida. I did an episode there when I did CB Smith. Now, I was gonna go to CB Smith and walk around the park, but I said, nah, I'm gonna just go hang out at round one and then get some. And then when I saw Sbarro, because I always look up what's in the food court, because I haven't been here since the last time I did an episode. So I said, let me go look up in the food on the mall thing and see what they got. And I was like, oh yeah, they got a Sbarro. And I said, I'm here for pasta, you know, because you know that's one of my favorite pet peeves, pasta. You know, I love Italian food, you know. So you know, anytime I order from a restaurant, a pasta or Italian restaurant or a pizza joint, they got pasta, I'm getting it. Like Pizza Hut has pasta. Every time I get pizza, I order pasta. Papa John's don't have pasta, but they have, you know, those like bowls, like the little chicken Alfredo bowls and stuff like that, but it doesn't have pasta in it. I've never had Domino's, and I don't think the last time I don't know if I ever had Domino's, but I've never had them as an adult. Me, I've never ordered it myself. Now, I've probably been somewhere where they serve Domino's pizza, like a party or something, but I've never had Domino's, me personally. And I've never had their pasta, so I wouldn't know how it is. So, yeah, and you know, Little Caesars, they don't sell pasta, you know. But I love going to these mom and pop pasta restaurants like the House of Mac or, you know, what's the one other one I go to? There's a lot of places, that I go to, but I always research certain places when I go to before I go to them, so I know what I'm getting into. Like at the mall, I know that there's a Cinnabon here, and I always love, Cinnabon is one of my favorite dessert restaurants. And I say, let me look at the food court, and I was like, oh, they got a Sbarro, and all I saw was Sbarros, and I was done. I didn't want nothing else and stuff like that. Cause normally, like when I go to malls, I go raid the food court. Like at Dolphin Mall, three of my favorite restaurants are there: Sbarro's, Charlie's, and Ludus Express, which is a Chinese restaurant, and I always get them every time. And of course, Cinnabon, if you count that as a restaurant, but I count that as a dessert restaurant, so I don't count that in my, and it's not in the food court. And I always rate all three of them. And normally when I go to a food court, there's always a Charlie's restaurant there, and you don't always get Sabaros, you get something else, but in a way, you get what you can. Oh, my chicken parmesan is stuck. And I must say, this chicken parmesan, I'm gonna tell you like this. They had this sitting out on display. Because when you go to these food courts in the mall, a lot of the food is sitting on the display. And this was hot when I got it. Mm. Not hot as in delicious, even though it is delicious. I mean hot like it could burn your mouth. I might finish off the chicken parmesan before I finish off the baked ziti. Mm. What I want to say about this is, not only that, support the food courts. When you go into the mall, because I know a lot of these malls now, they have it to where they don't have, they have food courts, but they also have like standalone restaurants like TGI Fridays or Chili's, or like, you know, 5-star restaurants that's in these malls, and people don't go, they go to the 5-star restaurant. But in the food courts, like this food court is dead, it's not really dead, but it's like, it's probably less than 50 people in this food court. And normally in a food court, you go to food court, some of the lines be long. Even the Chick-fil-A line is not long, and Chick-fil-A always have a line. So I'm like, support the food courts, because a lot of these businesses are being shut down because people don't support them like they're supposed to. Like you're here at a mall, and I always rate the food court. Regardless of whatever mall I go to, I always go to the food court. Because I was thinking of when I left and did the episode, because I did, when I did the Miramar Pineland and I did that, the episode of my old college, I was thinking, should I go to Pembroke Lakes Mall? And I said that, should I not, or just go back to mine? And I was thinking, there is a Chipotle on my way back home, so I said I can stop at Chipotle. And I'm like, but I say no, I'm going to the mall, so let me see what I can find in the mall. So I looked at restaurants, and I remember, there's a Sbarro's, and I was like, oh yeah, let me get Sbarro's. So, I like to support, even though they chained restaurants. A lot of these chained restaurants are getting shut down too. Remember earlier I did an episode. Remember earlier when we was doing the episode of my college, and I remember the Hook and Reels place used to be an Outback's, and they closed it down, and now it's a Hook and Reels. And I was like, that was the Outback Steakhouse. I don't ever think I've been inside that one and actually ate in there. But Outback Steakhouse, and I'm like, yeah. Even though these are chained restaurants, and on my way here, I saw a place that used to be the Bahama Breeze, because the Bahama Breeze closed all of their locations, and I seen the place that used to be the Bahama Breeze, and I was like, I've never been to a Bahama Breeze, and I wish I could have went to one before they closed, but and that's why I say support these businesses, because a lot of these businesses are getting closed down, and not. And I know some of these businesses are not closing because we don't support them. They're closing because a lot of these companies are doing new business ventures and exploring new options, exploring things like that. So, but at the same time, Some people say I don't do Sbarro's because it's not authentic Chinese. I mean, not authentic Italian food, but it is Italian food. When I saw what they had, I was like, because if they didn't have this baked ziti and this chicken parmesan, I probably wouldn't have got nothing. Because I don't go to Italian restaurants to order spaghetti. Because that's something I could cook at home, and I can probably cook that for less than $3. Get me some 99-cent noodles, some they got pasta, which is like $1 and something, and I can make that on my at home, because I make pasta all the time at home. So I didn't come to a restaurant to pay $10 for no spaghetti and meatballs. No. So I I got the baked ziti and chicken parmesan. Now it is good. It is good. I usually don't do chain restaurants, but I just wanted to do this because these restaurants are closing, and a lot of these restaurants are not doing business. Well, we're not expecting you to have a line outside the door, because every time I go by a Chick-fil-A and I see the drive-thru be so packed, and the last time I went to a Chick-fil-A, it was probably with my mom, because I remember the first time I ever went to a Chick-fil-A was with me and my girl, and that was at the Riverland Shopping Center, and I think I did a video of Riverland. If not, yeah, I did a video of Riverland, and I ended up going to the same location with my mom. And I went one time with my coworker, but the last time I went, I think it was with my mom, and they be having a line on the inside. Now that one is, and I was like, okay, whatever, whatever. But I'm not gonna be on here too long because I just want to give you a food review. But go support these shopping mall food courts. A lot of the here there's not a lot of lines in the food court, and I say go support them, and go support the food courts. I see a lot of people buying Chick-fil-A. Sbarro's didn't have a lot of people there. They're gonna start looking at the money sales and say, hey, we're not making the money, so we need to shut this down. Or they're gonna say, hey, we're not doing this, so we gotta shut this down. So I'm like, yeah. And then when they start shutting them down, that's when people gonna get mad and be like, why they shut down my favorite restaurant? And then you know why. A lot of you complain, and I say this a lot. A lot of people complain when they restaurants get shut down, but then they don't realize you don't get the people out to support these restaurants. A lot of these restaurants get shut down not because, there are some restaurants that get shut down because they failed health inspections, and then a lot of these restaurants get shut down. There's like 4 reasons why restaurants get shut down. The main reason why a lot of people don't support these restaurants, and then when they, don't see the money coming in, they got to get shut down. Number 2 is they failed health inspection, meaning that they failed health violations, they had health violations, and they failed inspection to where they couldn't reopen back up and stuff like that. Another reason is, the company that owns the business is, they filing for bankruptcy, or they don't have no money, or they shifting into new business ventures, so they want to close their existing businesses to make way for new businesses and things like that. Then another thing is because the property that they're on is probably getting sold off, and they have to close the business venture and stuff like that. So these things happen. So go support them. Chicken parm baked ziti, one of my favorites. So I thank y'all for watching this. I just had to get it in, and if you didn't check out my other videos that I did earlier, a 2-part episode of Mill Mall Pineland Park, an episode of Pembroke Pines, or my old Florida Career College campus and surrounding areas, and of course this one. And as always, thank you for watching. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay hydrated. I'm gonna finish this off. I may have to take it home, and then I'm gonna go get me a Cinnabon, and then I'm going home because I already played some video games. At round 1, I'm finna finish this off. Give me a nice Cinnabon, take it home, then have it with a glass of milk, and I'll see y'all in the next episode.